Welcome back, folks. Game number 1 in a brand new best of 5. It's the elimination series. And one of these guys is about to sit down out of the tournament. $2,000 bare minimum is what we're offering for prizing, but of course we're hoping to see that go way higher. Talk about that more in a moment. For now, though, the bottom right, playing for Storm Gaming, it's the Blue Terran, GuMiho.
In the top left is the red Zerg. He is Splice Solar.
Now, I said it in the lobby, I'm just going to say it for stream. I really, like, after that first game, the first series today of TY and Solar, I really didn't think it was going to get better than that. Like, TY playing so impressive, so good, and so cool. And then GuMiho does that last game. And even though he lost, I just loved the execution. I loved the thought process. I loved everything about what he did.
I love the idea. You know, and trying to copy GuMiho's ideas is fun, but at the end of the day, it is an idea, and execution is still very important. And how to say this in a politically correct way, the current trend of things is still important. TVP is going to be a hard matchup, no matter how ingenious you think your build is. So
I see why I should be political with that. So as I mentioned, speaking of the prize money, guys, exclamation mark Matcherino in chat. Type it, use the code. I want every single one of those codes used up so we can request more from Matcherino, because this tournament's offering a lot of extra prize money. All we got to do is go claim it. Now, of course, while Matcherino's been one of the partners for BTSL through the entirety of 2017, again, that reminder that this wouldn't be possible without Twitch. But there's the sponsor shoutouts. Overdone with shilling through the roof. But, yeah. Also, quick reminder that if you do want to put money towards the prize pool, do not donate to the channel. Currently, any channel donations are just going towards my mom's cancer fund. So, Matcherino for players, channel for charity, I guess. Well, it's not charity, it's a charity case, I guess.
Charity case does not sound good.
Well, cancer doesn't sound good either.
No, like, there's something about that phrase that just... Why?
I guess because it gets used in a derogatory way probably more often than like a real way, like...
I guess so. But like the word charity doesn't, so it's weird.
A little bit of micro out of GuMiho. Causing some chaos to these Zerglings, but now that the Queen's out, Mama Queen's able to protect everybody.
Mama Queen. So you brought up Mech and how Solar hasn't been taking on Mech too well against TY. Decently, but ultimately losing. GuMiho is a Terran Mech master, but can be different styles. TY is even more so turtly and, you know, SCV production-y than GuMiho has been. GuMiho a little more battle-oriented, very aggressive type of mech. So I might be doing better against GuMiho's playstyle if he goes mech. Because then that's another question, is that what TY is doing it every single time, GuMiho, he doesn't. He sometimes goes bio. Dim! Called it.
Alright. Also, real quick, in good news, please. Looks like we have found a replacement for Innovation for his group on, I think it's Friday? Can't remember if it's tomorrow or if it's Friday, but Ryung will be taking a spot. It's good to hear.
Well, that's cool, but sad that Innovation is like, I don't know, forgoing all commitments.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just taking the season off, it just would have been nice. Like, hey, I know I committed to your tournament, but yeah, I can't play anymore.
Yeah. He was honestly looking depressed with the state of TVP and the state of Terran. Maybe he's secretly training as Protoss.
Maybe. Real quick note on why Ryung was invited to over specifically anybody else, because it is based off of points and availability. We've just gone down this list, and a lot of Korean players. It's sad, actually, looking at that list of points. You had Leenock, who was like top 15 or something, but he's not really playing anymore. And a lot of these other guys who they played a lot at the start of the year, they got wins at the start of the year, so they had a lot of points in the year-end list, but they're not really either playing StarCraft or they are on break officially.
Yep. It's the holidays. It is off-season.
Beyond taking a break from StarCraft to go live his weeb dreams in Korea. If you guys haven't, or in Japan,
I saw that.
If you haven't seen the tweets he's been putting out, they are hilarious. I love it. He's matching like anime posters scene for scene.
Yeah, he's definitely weeaboo. I want to go back to Japan, but I'm not gonna do that. Are my favorite J-drama spots.
I think that Japan and weirdly Italy are the two places I would like to go at one point in my life.
Why Italy?
because Italian women are so freaking gorgeous, Zombie Grub. Oh my god.
Wait, I thought you wanted to go to Australia for the woman.
If I could find an Italian woman who had an Australian accent, oh my god. No, actually,
I never quite... Yeah, okay,
the jokes about Italy aside, really because I was watching season 2 Master of None, and the first couple episodes take place in Italy, and it looks so interesting.
Well, that's cool. It does look interesting. I want to go to Rome specifically. So that's good. That's fun. Anyways, we had Bio as an opener, but more importantly, perhaps it was a 3cc, so really powering up here with a later push ultimately, but stronger one come around 8 or 9 minutes. Well, 9 or 10 minutes. However long it takes to get to 2-2. And Solar is, I guess, finally able to play perhaps his elements, which is Ling Bane, Ling Hydra.
By the way, this combination of your emote and the little weeaboo girl emote, Hard Revenge is spamming, is so adorable. Oh my god. With these double drops heading out are going to be a bit of a problem. These maybe aren't so adorable. These are going to actually cause a lot of damage if Solar's out of position, but it's got a lot of banelings, granted without speed. I think dealing with this shouldn't be out of the question, but for GuMiho too, I don't know there's a lot more in store here other than maybe picking off a queen and getting some creep tumors. In fact, he's going to pick off several queens. That's Stim. Solar not paying attention. 1, 2, and 3. No, almost 3.
Almost 3. Well, that was really nice. Solar was off of creep, expecting it to creep forward, right? That was just perfect timing from GuMiho. The loss of Queen's not too bad. It's better than losing drones still. And he still has the creep tumors alive and able to spread. Picks up real quick like. Another drop to the left side. I mean, GuMiho has got to keep pressure up while he gets to a higher tank out, while he waits for those upgrades. Otherwise, he's just letting Solar get away with way too much.
Healing up, no problem. But this is a big distraction for us, actually. Picks off another queen.
Ooh.
Oh, but he needs a lot of banelings. That ended up being not so hot. He did a good job dodging them earlier, but now there's no force on the right side to distract him. GuMiho's not going to get away with too much on the left side.
Yeah.
In fact, he might be better off knocking down those rocks just so he can have that cover, but not going to do that. Drops in the main. A couple of Zerglings waiting for him. He could actually take these on.
There were a couple more and a couple of banelings too. So I have to pick up again. He grabbed...
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of forgot that that ledge was small enough you could drop on, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, he continued harassment here is annoying, so I can't do anything until those Hydras pop out, but the creep tumor wasn't even actually killed. Oh, there's no Hydra then. Never mind about the Hydras. He's going straight up into Ultras. But the live creep tumor is still alive, which is kind of funny. So ultimately not doing too much there.
Oh, the one that was over here, yeah.
Yeah, I need to spread that back and then forward again. Oh, GuMiho adds on 2 factories. Already has a 4th CC almost done. He could hit with 2-2. In fact, maybe he should even, with that pressure, as 6 his 4th base. But he could also just, triple produce tanks and then push his Ultras. Pop out.
Yeah, the concern here is while Ultras are perhaps on deck, maybe even a Greater Spire depending, it's all far out. So GuMiho's going to have a lot of time before he has to worry about that, which will give him time to react to exactly what he needs to do. I hope, by the way, that these extra factories are anticipation. Like, I want to see Drilling Claws come down. I want to see him prepared to do carpet bombing TY style.
Yeah, you wish. It would be a cool response to see, but... And I don't even know if we're going to see Broodlords, He's always really going to have to react quite quickly and with Ultras, but not that many of them, and not with chitinous plating. So I feel like a base should go down if GuMiho just finally pushes forward.
So awkward in the middle, because right now we got Lings dropping in the main. They don't have Adrenal Glands just yet, but they got 2-2. And then that's Banelings coming over this base, which is way oversaturated. Oh, thank God GuMiho notices. Quick reactions. Ooh.
Oh, no. Oh, but noticing that, he does not have his arm correctly placed at all, and it just gets utterly destroyed off of creep. But GuMiho didn't have a couple tank siege. His Marines were never split. He was totally distracted, loses all momentum, and now Solar can successfully get to Ultras.
That being said, though, Solar also just gave away everything with his attack. All the Banelings gone, meaning the Marines can start pushing back. Planetary's done, but not repaired. Oh no!
No!
We saw this happen last series too, but versus Protoss, I figured you're saying screw it because you know it's going to go down. You could totally save that versus Lings.
That's terrible. This is a terrible decision for GuMiho, which was originally a fine one. Even if he didn't manage to kill a base, defensively 4 bases, going on a 5, he would have been fine. But now he's back to just 3.
He's pumping those tanks out from scratch too, having lost the ones he had accrued. Having to burn a scan on that tumor he had missed earlier. Oh, it feels bad, man. At least there's a depot wall over here, but Solar's not worried about the wall. He's just going to keep going over. He's going to keep dropping. Scouting the timing of the Ultralisk. You know, while this goes on, GuMiho, quick look at the worker kills, guys. No one's really killed workers this game. So all he's really done is trim the hedges. He's been cleaning up some of the creep and not really hitting Solar where it hurts.
Nah, he hasn't. Solar also has, I think, enough time to get a Broodlords. Corruptors could be made as soon as he lets go of a little bit of supply, and I don't think GuMiho can respond to that.
Kind of Charlie question out of Red Ain in chat says, it's a TvZ. How can we complain about Protoss? Oh, easily, because this is the losers match and the Protoss sent the players here. Right? There you go. I got you. Big attack to the south, though. This is not a planetary. He's going to have to lift. Tanks are setting up. He can't give up. Oh, blinding clouds! What a deny!
No.
Ultra's right on top of this, and that's going to be it for GuMiho. There's no way to recover from that.
Oh my god, that blinding cloud is brutal. GG.
GG. Solar taking game number 1. Guys, down 1 at the moment. To the bottom right, we got the red Terran player, Sidestorm Gaming's GuMiho.
In the top left is the blue Zerg. He is Solar.
As much as I want to make that joke, Solar actually played that pretty well. The risk to go fast ultras and skip past what is essentially the mid-game tech could have been dangerous, especially with GuMiho playing bio and possibly getting drops in there. But I think Solar had made a good assessment of the situation. He realized that there was no harass. It was only creep tumors that were getting picked off and queens. Like, he really had the freedom to go straight to Hive.
Yeah. I feel like he shouldn't have, though. GuMiho had a 2-2 push with reinforcing tanks 3 at a time. And he kind of dilly-dallied, you know? He went to the left first and then went to the right. And then that's when everything went to hell. That's when the drops happened and he wasn't looking. And Solar was confidently pushing off of creep. A different world where he loses the SCVs but takes the army fight, again, off of creep. He probably has a continued push to at least kill a base in return. And then he would also have lost his 4th CC. Like, there's definitely a butterfly effect going on there, and it really came down to just not looking at the main army. GuMiho had a perfectly fine setup. 3 CC, boosted economy. It was looking good, and then it just all went to hell. Right, Blazer? He agrees. So, unfortunately, there's not much to be done about there's not much learning from that last game, you know? Basically just, okay, look at my army, which is what you're supposed to be doing in the first place. And I don't know if GuMiho is going to change it up, go mech like you're talking about, blame bio, or just try to look at his army next time.
I also want to quickly put a halt to misinformation in chat. As much as I know you're doing good here, Kinslayer XX, that is not entirely accurate. Unfortunately, ads do not have subs removed. Or excuse me, backwards. Subs do not have ads removed. Yeah, the ads get rid of all the subscribers every time we play them. Clear out that list. If you're a subscriber to the channel, you still get ads because ads are our biggest revenue source. In fact, they're pretty much our main one. Like I've said many times, ads either equal or greater than our sub count when it comes to end of month revenue. So we can't afford to turn them off. That being said, if you use Twitch Prime, you will never get ads on any channel on Twitch. Even if you're not Prime sub to us, just having Twitch Prime makes you have an ad-free viewing experience Twitch-wide. Plus, the bonus is, while you don't see the ad, the advertiser still pays us as if you did. So it's very good to have Twitch Prime. Also, we had a donation come in just now. Thank you very much. Alkis, $2.35 go towards the fund to help my mom fight cancer. Says, God bless all mothers in the world. Well, technically, we wouldn't be here without them. So yes.
Yes. That is an important point about mothers. And even fathers.
Not odd fathers, though. Even fathers.
Odd fathers are like Goodfellas and Godfathers. Oddfellas and Godfathers mixed together.
Oh, you're making my brain hurt so much I can't do it's like a tongue twister. I just can't do it, man.
Yeah, well, you made my brain hurt with the ads and subs thing.
Yeah.
I would not have noticed if you hadn't corrected yourself.
I made my brain hurt with that one too. All right, third CC for GuMiho coming up in the main, so he's not going to be going for anything too ridiculous, nothing too all-in, but it is bio once again, and the Overlord, I believe, got in to see... No, actually, didn't confirm it, but the Overlord should see this, and he sees that second barracks this time. There we go. Yeah, he's been able to confirm what's going on this time. So GuMiho not being so quick to blame bio, but I'm not sure about this zombie grub. Like, I don't think he played bio poorly, and I don't think GuMiho plays bio poorly objectively. I feel like he plays mech so much better, so it's strange to not see that be the go-to at the choice.
Yeah, I would have liked to see mech just to mix things up, because not only did he do bio again, it was the exact same build, 3cc double engineering bay, as greedy as possible. But it is, you know, that last game really was just him not paying attention for 1 second, and otherwise he had a very beautiful push set up with a beautiful follow-up, you know? And if he thinks that was really the way to go, then it might just be. But mech, one thing you can say about mech is that it is a bit sturdier. So if you don't look at your army for a second, at least trade's okay. So, you know, if he was worried about it happening again, I think he would have gone mech, but I don't think he's worried about it.
Yeah, that really is one of those once-in-a-while mistakes that unfortunate when it's in a tournament game, but probably happens on ladder a fair bit too. Just not when you want it to.
Well, you'd only want it to if you were like 60 supply ahead.
By the way, someone in chat was calling for nukes, which I'm always down for. Actually, we had TY nuke Zest in a game not too long ago. I think it was like 3 days ago maybe. Definitely worth checking out. It wasn't a game-winning move, but it was really cool to see a nuke in professional play. And then if you actually want to check the VOD, we're playing team games on stream, and I managed to get like a quadruple nuke off. So I think someone actually highlighted one of the clips too where I nuked the army. It was pretty good. Feels good, man. Nukes are not something that you really get away with most of the time, but they're fun when you do.
Yeah, me and Nate and Pig were playing threes, and Nate went mass ghosts. And these poor guys, because we were still in replacement matches, and it's always like, you know,
it's just
bronze,
like really,
diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, yesterday I was playing on my ladder account, and some guy was opening up so weird, didn't have any units. I was just like, what the hell's happening? I felt so terrible, man. The guy was playing his placement matches.
Ooh, when he got placed against you.
He was like silver or something, and I was like, no.
There.
God. Yeah. I just wanted to like message him like, I hope you enjoy StarCraft.
Yeah, please don't quit on my account.
No.
Alright, this attack has stim, almost got combat shields, but this is still a lot of damage with that 1-1. In fact, you could probably focus right down the banelings if he's quick to the drop. It looks like he's not, so he's just gonna pick up, fly away from here. You know, these two Hellbats, I'm not sure what they were accomplishing. Other than dying or living forever.
Yeah, that one in particular is a survivor.
There can only be one.
Oh, never mind. GG. Okay, so that was a bit odd, but it, you know, distraction and a drop, that makes sense, even if it's usually not with two Hellbats. Solar is not getting past the Hydra game here. He is going Ling, Baneling, Hydra, and then having the Infestation Pit.
Still think ultimately faster Hive should work out. GuMiho didn't... He kind of died before it really got in full swing, but I mean, the blinding clouds were disgusting. The ultras were almost at chitinous plating. There were so many things for Solar that were going to win that game if the timing that caught GuMiho and that choke didn't.
Yeah. That was brutal.
Ooh, find some queens. Nice pickoffs over here. Burns that transfuse.
Oh, get the Hydra.
Meanwhile, attack force number 2 coming on this base. A couple banelings for the backside, but he picks off the queen and stutters into the mineral lines. He should be able to focus these down, but he's not paying attention, so he gets cleaned up. Very good for Solar, very bad for GuMiho.
That's a rag on the guy for, like, you know, one bad day, but this is kind of GuMiho. You know, when he won the GSL, I think that was the peak of his mechanical performance. I think even he agreed. I think that's what he worked on, right? Loses another drop. That's what he was working on to become better, was just straight up mechanics. He's never really been the Maru, right? Just play like Maru, GuMiho, Jesus. You know, controlling 50 different drops at once while macroing perfectly. So this is like convincing me even more that perhaps today, maybe even specifically, he should maybe go mech. Mech is not an APM list style, but it is a little more forgiving.
Well, I don't know about getting too harsh on GuMiho or anything like that. I just, after watching the series versus stats, I thought he had really good control. He had a lot of cool moves. He had plans up his sleeve too. It just feels like an almost different person playing now.
Yeah, it's true. But whatever you want to say about his headspace right now, losing 3 medevacs worth of units is bad. So you get momentum kind of cut here, but 4th base is planetary, and he does have a defensive setup with tanks, so Solar's not going to be getting a freebie here.
Chases down a lot of the banelings. That's going to feel good, but he's got to be careful because that army could turn around on him, and even though it's off creep, that's still a lot of Hydralisks. Ultra's Cavern has started up as well as Adrenal Glands too, by the way, guys. We do have a lot of melee upgrades, so this game gets worse and worse for GuMiho the closer this gets to actually building those high-tech units.
Only had 2 factories this time. Why go 3 last time but not this time? Oh, well. If you go 2 factories here, maybe he's going to get another starport instead, which Liberators can be very good. A drop is doing some damage, gets an Overlord as well as a decent number of Lings.
It's going to be really hard to keep momentum going with drops like that, though. They're so tiny and they're so easily deflected. And GuMiho, I think one of the biggest elements missing from this bio play is it's not really been 2 attacks at the same time or distraction on the left, then like simultaneously distraction on the right, because it's more like distraction on the left dies, then the attack on the right, and that's just not going to cut it. But it looks like his answers to the Ultras are going to be Liberators, 2 extra command centers starting up in the main, but also that Fusion Core coming down for that range upgrade.
Yeah. I wondered why he only got 2 factories, and apparently that was the answer. He was just going to go more into starport production than last game. So very long macro game coming out here. Solar probably won't be able to bust a defensive GuMiho, but once GuMiho feels confident moving out, that's when Solar can really start getting those trades. Moment also slap down a Spire. Vipers can only do so much work. Raptor's a safer answer against Liberators.
I was just gonna chase that back. This is really interesting. I like the ghosts a lot, actually. For those who don't know, they also tweaked ghost costs, so they're a little more manageable now, actually. A lot more affordable, too. But, well, Liberators may or may not prove to be good, because honestly, we are seeing them be like about 50-50. They're either amazing or they're horrible. I think the ghosts are gonna add a lot to this.
So much control, though.
It's really interesting to me, too. I knew that the Infestor Burrow nerf with the fungal was going to be a big deal, but man, it has like removed them from the game entirely.
Yeah, it's one of those units along with the Widowmine for me where I still see its use. You know, like people, what's funny is that you have to kind of go back to like 2012 when people didn't even figure out that burrowing Infestors was a good idea. You know, like they're still figuring that one out. And Infestors were still okay. So yeah, they might get targeted more, but the fungals are still pretty worthwhile. Just a couple, especially when it comes to Air Wars, which just might just... We do have a Spire on the way. Eventually gonna turn to a Greater Spire, and GuMiho might have to respond with Vikings.
Oh, medevacs, they're just gonna be dodging and weaving. There's actually a lot of medevacs for GuMiho. I'm gonna argue almost maybe too many. That's a lot of army supply that it's got through these medevacs, and if he's going mass Liberators and ghosts, these are less important. I mean, you still need them, but we'll see if the drops end up being efficient, because they just really haven't been so far. This is an appropriate amount to heal the army, but I don't know about this. There's a lot of tanks spreading. That's kind of cool, but where are those Liberators?
Well, it looks like Solar is expecting them, so he just pulls back. Maybe he could take on the tank, so that was a pretty deep tank line, and the Vipers weren't on top of it yet. Liberators went to go harass. A couple Liberators sieged up, main and 5th, or whatever this base is, and a drop to its 6th. I don't want to count.
The expansions, you are correct. The southern expansion.
6th, 9th, and 7th. There you go. Perfect.
I'm a 6th base, but I identify as a 5th.
Yeah, I identify as a main. This is some good distraction.
You can't be a main base, though. Don't tell me what I can and can't be.
There's a lot of crease spread cleanup, and that is important. Maybe Solar will forget to replant it as it is coming to that late stage of TvZ. Won't envelop the entire map.
Oh no. gets a little bit caught out here, but this is without the Hydra's pouncing on it, so the Lynx don't clean this up. Wow, the frame drops in Odyssey are real. That's cool. Say goodnight, frames. See you later. Oh, did he? Okay, he does have Liberator range. Just looked a little bit odd. The ghosts are not that numerous, but he is producing 4 at a time behind this, and I really like the idea of the ghosts here quite a bit.
Oh, continuing to upgrade. Gonna have pretty decent upgrades on the Liberators. Not just armor, but also investing into the attack. So withstanding Corruptor shots ended up being actually a really useful use of the armor over attack. But if you can get both, you can get both, and that's fantastic.
I don't know how people are getting offended about gender jokes. Nobody made a gender joke. We're talking about main bases and 6th bases. If you're tying that to gender, I think you got a problem. Just saying.
A lot more ghosts are on the way, but slowly starting to split up his army, finding GuMiho with important positional units in position. This time the ghosts spawned, however.
Oh, but the Baileys are going to drive off the SCVs, catching them on the retreat. Ghost goes down with us too. But good defense on the south side. Now can he hold on the top? Liberties are pretty good, but they're without upgrades. Well, I got +1 upgrade, I suppose, but still mostly no upgrades to melt these Ultras. But they are taking care of the Hydras. Diving a little bit too deep, and Ghost actually sniping the Overseers.
Oh, okay. Well, okay trade for Solar. He is banking a lot, as is GuMiho. Never mind, but poking and prodding and eventually finding GuMiho's weakness, perhaps. GuMiho almost, I don't think he can ever really feel confident pushing out to Solar. He's going to have to expand and slowly crawl across the map with solid defense. And that's how he'll eventually get to Solar's bases. But Solar should be completely fine expanding, overexpanding even. There's only one drop denying it.
Who's that guy in chat? Who's that guy in chat earlier? Can I get a hell yeah? Not just one nuke, but 2 extra Ghost Academies. And this isn't because he needs extra upgrades. These are to house additional nukes.
Okay, that's going to be pretty cool. This is a way to advance forward. It doesn't require the army to just, like, you know, be scared and move. You know, that's usually how the Terrans expand. They bring the army forward, they bring command center forward, and hope this Zerg goes, I don't want to take it on. I guess I'll retreat. With nukes, they're going to have to either retreat or commit.
Oh no. He's got to up. He does save a lot of them. Gets those out of there alive. Now the Bailey's will be picked off by the tanks. The Corruptors are going to be pushed back by the turrets, and the Ghost can start sniping here too. Picks off the Overseer once again, trying to focus this last one down. Not going to get it, so there is still detection to worry about. But these Ghosts have got those snipes still. Picking off the Ultras. GuMiho holds.
He does not have a lot of anti-air. The Ghosts are out of snipe energy. It seems like 2 more come forward. This base was killed, but he has extra command center. First possible outcome. If this base is also killed, that would be the worst.
Oh my god, so many snipes. Ghost out on the front lines here. No problem auto-attacking down the Zerglings. But okay, when it comes down to the nukes, let's start talking about this, right? Because there's a lot of weird ways this is going to go down. You don't want to be, like, using a nuke to kill a hatchery with the drones, right? That's not how the nukes need to be used. But instead, giant zoning mechanisms, giant leapfrogs forwards, like giant zones that the Zerg player just cannot possibly compete in. That's how the nukes are going to be best used.
Yeah. He has spent so much money replacing Ghosts, but they still, you know, probably worthwhile. A lot of snipes went down to the Corruptors, the Ultras, and there are still enough of them that they can start nuking, start advancing forward. But Solar, I feel like he should again be running away a little bit more than he should. We had this critique of his game versus TY, I think on this map too. Maybe it was Ascension Ire. Anyways, he could probably have taken the bottom 2 left bases by now. A single drop has been what's, you know, harassing him. That's not enough. You know, a couple Lings with the Adrenal Glands could ever take that on. But he's not, and he is losing a bit on that bank.
Well, it's 47 Banelings right now. He's gonna have a few more additional ones morph in. Ghosts might not be light units, folks, but they also have a finite amount of health. So splash damage is gonna be splash damage at the end of the day. No snipes, no cloaks. Oh, that's gonna cost him the first wave of ghosts. But he does have them in a great position. Nothing can reach them, so they're gonna snipe off those Ultras. Not a problem.
That was a beautiful positioning for the Ghosts. They're even getting snipes from the Corruptors, but the Banelings still trying to roll through. Not end up reaching the Ghosts.
No, the
they still took out
soaked the hits.
So much of the bio.
But here's the thing, when we look at the resources lost, this is definitely favoring GuMiho now. Solar has thrown away a lot, and while GuMiho's taking some pretty big hits, oh, there goes his air, and there goes the Ghost. Solar is losing Ultralisks. Solar's losing Banelings. In fact, The income favors Solar heavily, so it can kind of make some of these losses, but we're at this point now where he's 10,000 minerals and gas behind his opponent. In fact, I'm scared to look at the army graph. I'm going to pull it up, though, and... GuMiho's just like this constant, and Solar's bouncing all over the place.
Solar's been taking, I think, too many bad fights, especially too quickly. You know, he could probably have a bank still if he wasn't taking them one after another. And then again, he could run out of minerals.
By the way,
like, he has 3 pretty healthy mining bases, but I feel like he should have 4 or 5.
Let's talk about what just happened with those ghosts, too. Solar has no infestors in play, and while ghosts have the energy refunded now and it's not as big of a deal, you still interrupt Snipe with a fungal growth. None of his units could reach this cliff. If Solar had one fungal reach that cliff, none of those snipes go off. And that was every single ghost. So, as much as I want to be like, lol, Solar is missing infestors, and I think he's missing them in a terribly bad way.
Yeah. And, you know, before anyone says, well, they can't burrow fungal anymore, how, you know, they're just gonna die, I mean, you can micro them. That was a microable situation. Get in, get out.
Even if you didn't, even if you sacrificed the infestor to stop, what was it, 12 snipes?
True.
Probably worth it.
Yeah, that's also a very valid point. GuMiho is starting to get a little confident, pushing forward here with the bio. But again, fungals would stop this. He's constantly been on the front lines, taking fights, before just running back to his tanks and liberators. And that's an extra couple banelings, maybe even an ultra if he's focus firing. So, I don't know, I feel like fungals are missing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's really interesting, too. We've seen this expansion. Players have been more than ever capable at using Vipers. But as this patch hit, everyone's forgotten about infestors. Even the basics of what they are. I don't think you need sick neurals. You don't need burrowed fungals. You just need to be able to use them in terrain. Again, favoring GuMiho. Snipes off those ultras.
And he needs, like, hydras at the very least. Like, something to reach over these ledges that GuMiho is getting efficient to abuse.
Okay, the nuke's just gonna zone out the army. That's so cool. See, a couple more snipes, takes out the Viper. Oh no, goodbye frames once again, but that's okay because the Baileys come in from both sides, clean this up. But there's so much bile left, he can actually take out the Corruptors for once.
Yeah, well, this wasn't very timed out very well. GG.
That was a hell of a long game, but an excellent one out of GuMiho, showing the power of ghosts, man. And do me a favor though, guys. I know that we got 6,000 people tuning in, and not everyone's gonna do this. But type !Matcherino in chat. Use that code, hype BTSL. Increase the prize pool of the tournament. Let's get going. Let's get this as high as we possibly can. Let's use up every single code Matcherino has made available to us. But spawning here in the top left, it's going to be the blue Terran player, Storm Gaming's GuMiho.
In the bottom right is the red Zerg. He is Solar.
So I want to actually just delve into what happened that game, because everything in that late game made me suddenly very aware as to why GuMiho would want to play Bio over Mech. Because Mech is sturdier and it's got predictable mid-game, early game, late game. The Ghosts are a real tipping point. That's the skill cap, right? How well do you use your Ghosts? A bad player using Ghosts will get destroyed by the Zerg. A good player who can identify positioning the way GuMiho did on that map and use that against Solar at every turn, that's the difference those Ghosts make.
Ghosts are certainly difficult to use, and many Terrans still avoid them just for that difficulty.
But Zombie, perhaps Ghosts and Viking control is so easy.
Yeah, bring that guy back. But perhaps this is something that's gonna like even rise even more as people like Ghosts were never really out, but they were delayed heavily in favor of like mass liberators. Now that fungals are no longer burrowed, perhaps people will be more experimental with Ghosts. I don't know, but it felt like infestors could still have been useful in that game. And then on top of that, bringing it back to what I was talking about during the game, which is that Solar, he was taking fights one after another. He really thought he could bully his way in there, which maybe against a worse player he could have. He wasn't really taking his time and expanding and gathering a bank. He was kind of just letting like, I feel like kind of playing to GuMiho, what GuMiho wanted. GuMiho wanted to take bases slowly after the fourth. And move an army that is sieged along that line, and Solar kept pushing into it.
I want to build on what you just said, though, where infestors could have been useful, and I'm going to actually argue and even say they were necessary because of the positioning, the terrain, and the army compositions. Maybe Solar's identified this, maybe he hasn't, but really, this is like trying to play against Bio without using Banelings. You know, you don't need the fungal growths for the medevacs and the drops, but if it's just to cut out the Ghosts, you can't go to the late game without them. Alternatively, though, I would have liked to have seen a Broodlord or two. While they would have maybe been sniped the same way by the Ghosts, at least they had a chance to reach the Ghosts and throw those Broodlings in and disrupt future snipes. Either way, Solar missed everything that could have possibly dealt with the Ghosts other than in a straight-on engagement.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think a couple problems for Solar. GuMiho, not that his game was perfect, but his late game was almost perfect. You know, that mid game he lost a lot of medevac drops, and Solar was allowed a bit of freedom and, you know, abused it up until a point. It still makes me worried for another bio game. We have Ascension to Ire now as the map, and his Odyssey is, like, in my opinion, it's a similar idea to Ascension to Ire. Ire does have a lot more open spaces. You know, I think it's a bit more difficult to actually get those amazing positions that GuMiho was. You know, actually going from the 5th to Solar 6th with the ledges.
Okay, on that point, you're correct. But I was going to say, there's still definitely a lot of places you can take advantage of that from. For example, pick up a Ghost, plop it up here, take the fight in the choke or in the middle. Like, there's... I'm getting ahead of myself. We might not even see it. It might actually be mech. So, we'll talk about that more if it comes into play. Raven coming out. It's going to be cool to see. We're seeing a lot of players really find ways to use the new Raven. And I think if this push ends up being like your typical Hellbat or Hellion Banshee push, but you throw a point defense... Excuse me, not point defense drone. A repair drone in there, it acts like the medevac.
Yeah, it does. In fact, you can even go medevac SCV pool repair drone for what is like never-ending Hellbat pressure, but most people don't do that. They don't want to pull SCVs during this. This is an attack, but it's not super committed, and you don't really want to get a medevac as well as a Raven. I think the Banshee's going to be a little more powerful. But Solar is going to have roaches, which is a lot more helpful. In fact, he's already building some. He's got a lot of queens. So that's not going to be a problem. That's going to be an issue. And Solar is trying to time this out perfectly despite not having the Overlord anymore. He does. He times it out absolutely perfectly.
Oh, the depots were down. What a pain.
That sucks. Because really, as a Terran player, you feel quite safe moving out with your Hellions as soon as that Overlord dies. You know, like, you just figure they can't time it correctly anymore. But Solar absolutely did. Now, those were the accessory Hellions, so there's still a pack over here.
Well, I would argue the problem is that he kept the Banshee at home. The Hellion's right. They'll come across the map lickety split, but the Banshee needed to be here on the front line push, I think. Taking out these queens can be a real pain without it, but oh, I'm now realizing this Raven, forget what I said about the repair drone, which could still be good. He could actually completely deny transfuses with this. And transfuses are what makes queens so infuriating to fight this early on.
There's actually quite a few choices that would be fine, I think. Even anti-armor missile, if it hits a clumped up bunch of roaches and queens, would be pretty good. But it's
just
whoa, alright then.
Orange. Well, splash damage hurts too, but everything that's orange right now has -3 armor.
That has friendly fire?
That should not have friendly fire.
I am angry. This is angry when I found out that the Nefarious Matrix was a projectile.
Okay, so this was kind of cool, but this failed. This was really bad for GuMiho. That's so dumb. That is not an ability that should do... Like, I can understand if it did friendly fire, the 30 damage with splash damage. The fact that it armor reduces in friendly fire is so stupid.
Dude, I agree. Raven, never again. The Raven is like the weirdest like love-hate relationship. You know, sometimes it's amazing. It interference matrix a carry, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And then sometimes it does, like, you suck. I hate you.
The Raven is that weird kid in class. You know, like at some point something's gonna happen, but everything up till then, you're just like, I don't understand you. You're just like, come on. I need you to blossom into the swan already.
God damn it, Raven. Gosh darn it. Alright, whatever. So it lived. I guess it'll have another opportunity to try and prove itself, but it's mech also. Some of the one armory upgrading.
Oh, I just can't get over the fact that So for those who don't know, the armor effect here, right? -3 armor applies to everything. And if you go below armor, you'll take bonus damage. So like, let's say it takes off 3 armor and you have 0 base armor. You will take 3 extra damage from all sources. It is pretty stupid that could hurt your own units.
Yeah. People saying we're biased. Whatever, man. These
right.
abilities just don't even look like they should be friendly fire. Like, when I heard the Secret Missile had splash damage, like friendly fire damage, I was like, well, it's an explosive, there's a lot of damage. Like, you should be kind of, like, threatened for doing it, but...
You know what, while we're at it, Hellion should do friendly fire, too. All that fire, something's got to catch on.
That's a good point, actually. You should be careful.
Don't know who's listening, Rifkin. Oh no, we don't know who's coming either. Well, this is where the Raven actually still has a role to play. 5 Banshees can kill us no problem. But what I don't like for GuMiho, and don't get me wrong, guys, I love me some Banshee play. This is like backwards ass Banshees. No Hyperflight rotors, only cloak. And unfortunately, he has no idea about these roaches.
Oh, this is gonna be. This is gonna be really impactful. Yeah, there you go. Pop it up. A lot of SCV's gonna die before the 4CC is quite done. Maybe even stall that out too.
He pulls as quickly as he can, but it's still 15 SCVs dead on arrival. Raven's floating a little too far away. Man, burrow roaches regenerate fast.
This is a very good use of the Raven, so it's a good thing it didn't die, but this is still gonna take so much time to clean up. Oh, as I said, the Banshees don't have speed. A lot of time for Solar to get to his 4 bases saturated, which I guess they already were, but Vipers are going to be able to consume. A lot more hydras are being produced.
Yo, Zerg players, I'm going to make a balanced trade with you, okay? It's like we trade Lunchables at lunch or whatever. I can test that Hellions should do friendly fire to one another if Banelings do as well.
That's a terrible trade. As much as I want to get on like your Terran bias here, I'm like, no, that's actually insane.
No, it's just for the guy. There's a couple people in chat who make like adamant arguments. All area of effect should do friendly fire. Well, do you still stand by that statement now?
It does make so much sense though. Just imagine like in a spawning pool, right? They're having fun and they bump into each other and they would explode. Like, pop.
The Banelings that we see on the map are only a 10th of the ones that were initially made because they all got killed in
the
womb.
Zerg player has to like, set the Zerglings apart from each other so they don't touch. Perfect.
All right. Well, sadly or luckily, that's never going to be the case. But continuing to clean all this up, GuMiho does come out of this with 56 SCVs and a 4th CC. 4th orbital, actually. So he's really not in the worst case scenario, but Solar's still winning the income graph, and his army looks fantastic. And these Banshees, I'm still not convinced that these Banshees are going to do well.
I just thought, I'm waiting for the repair drone to disappoint me as well. There's going to be something that's going to be really dumb about it.
Well, he puts the interference matrix on the Vipers. It's actually not too bad of a move, so that's only cool. One of the blinding clouds times out awkwardly because GuMiho doesn't have enough tanks, so there's no way to take advantage of this. Repair drone is going to keep the Banshees alive barely, but it heals so slow it's doing nothing. GG. He is on his last life and fighting for it. To the bottom left, we've got the Red Terran, Psystorm Gaming's GuMiho.
The top right is the blue Zerg. It is Solar.
Also, we'd like to just thank everybody for getting on board today. Really happy we managed to unlock that emote slot. Got cool stuff coming down the pipeline, and even if all of this disappears because the sub gifting and all that next month, I'm just really happy to see that we unlocked 2 emotes this month after thinking we'd never unlock any more ever again. So good stuff, good stuff. But man, GuMiho has got a hell of a fight ahead of him. I don't think Blackpink's actually too great of a map for mech. And if he's going to pull off those ghost tactics, it's going to be tough to stop Solar from taking control of the map.
When I initially saw Blackpink, I was the same idea, but we see an awful lot of mech on it. I guess the 3rd base is technically only 1 choke, and then the 4th base, or what is usually 3rd and 4th, sometimes they're reversed. I guess is just enough of an area to cover. I don't know. I always thought the 4th base was suspicious, and usually mech play is about the accessibility of the 4th, because 3rds are kind of a given nowadays in StarCraft 2. They're just kind of assume they're going to happen, so it's always the 4th that's a little bit questionable. But anyways, he might do it. It didn't turn out so well, but he also lost the bio game. What are really his choices?
People asking about the intros being different. So, well, we play the super hype ultra K-pop version of the intro, which is nice. It's also not something we have copyright clearance for. So it's fun to do once in a blue moon. But if I want to use VODs of this or cut it up, and we don't want it to get super muted, we got to go for the Monster Cat version instead.
Yeah. Ah, well. So, Command Center first. Hold. Sorry.
If he gets away with this will be a nice opening for him, especially if he's thinking about bio. But I was just going to mention, I recently kind of forgot that these were options, because for the ESL stream I had to do, or excuse me, the IEM stream I had to do the other day, they have a very set list of specific music, and it's all pretty epic and good sounding music. But I was looking at it, and it's all from like Audio Jungle and those kind of sites, and I forgot that those were sites you could like buy and license music from. So I think whenever we get the next season of map intros, I'm going to be exploring that. I don't mind dropping 20 or 40 bucks on a song. It brings up the quality of the intro quite a bit. It's nice though. Monster Cat we've had a license with for a long time. They're actually based out of where I live, so really cool guys. I've got to meet them at their offices a couple times.
GuMiho is going mech, but most importantly, he's adding on second factory very quickly. So not just, you know, Hellions
double
into
reactors.
Triple factory production. Yeah, he's going to go for, presumably, Cyclone Hellion, which I haven't seen in a while. Perhaps Solo will be very surprised. Or scout it and not be surprised at all.
Yeah, I was going to say the downside to this is scouting it kind of lets you be prepared for it, because this is really supposed to be a brute force, like surprise factor. But going with a couple Hellions to start, see the Cyclone come in. The +1 weapons ends up being very, very important if this is going to be Cyclones. But there's a weird old version of this that we may see GuMiho do, where you just go like super mass Hellions, like a stupid amount of Hellions.
I miss Blue Flame Hellions. Blue Flame. Well, Solar is adding on a Roach Warren, and with a combination of Roaches and Hellions, you would be the combination of, or sorry, Roaches and Lings, you'd be the combination of Hellions and Cyclones in a perfect world. Everything counters everything, and that's what it is. Hellion Cyclone.
Awkward non-wall off of the front too, as he goes to take a base, or fake taking a base?
I want to say it's a fake. This requires a lot of money.
Yeah, if you're producing Cyclones and anything off of 2 reactors.
Whoa. So what? He's doing a Hellbat push and then just producing Cyclone as his composition? He's not doing the Cyclone Hellbat all in.
He does take a third base. This is really weird, to be honest.
The thing is that Cyclones absolutely taper off. So if you're, you know, the timing is rather large, don't get me wrong. Like, you could get up even to like 12 or 16 Cyclones and still that'd be pretty powerful with +1. But when you get to like minute 10, 11, 12, like, you're going to wish you had a tank-based army instead of a Cyclone-based one. So it's just odd to see him, you know, start the Cyclone production so early and then not actually push with it. All right. Well, the Hellbat push did not work, and that is also a note that's bad.
For the Cyclone push, though, actually, I'm now realizing this still might time out well. I mentioned before, +1 weapons is very important if you're going Cyclones. But showing the Hellbat push, you guys will note, actually cut out Solar building a lot of Roaches. Like, he got a decent amount. He was expecting a big attack to come, but he went back into droning. I kind of almost wish GuMiho had done some mind gaming with this, where he really did have like an all-in coming up next as soon as the +1 weapons finished up, but nah, he's going for tanks. He's worried about this. I feel like for GuMiho, this was a cool idea that he was hoping didn't get scouted, and now that it did, he doesn't really have a solid plan to follow it up, and that's why this looks a little bit awkward and janky.
I think that is a correct assessment. I think he had to try and swap things up because Cyclones would have been like, a lot of the power is surprise. Not having enough units, not having Roaches at all, you know, is a terrible, like, game-winning easy move. But if they know and they prepare, this is something you can conquer, even with that +1 upgrade. So he had to kind of change his mind. But again, if he's going to add on these Cyclones and still not hit any particular timing, they're going to look useless when it comes to Hive Tech, especially when Solar's really maxed out.
Blue Flames on deck. Lings aren't going to get to run by, but the Overseer will scout everything. Not that there's anything to scout. It's pretty obvious that's mech at this point. Infestation Pit comes down, and for Solar, this seems to be less about, oh, will those be infestors or not. It might be a couple of Swarm Hosts. We saw him use those before. Most notably, it'll probably be for a Hive Tech timing. By the way, Roach is trying to stop the Hellions, but he's managed to run into the Mineral Lions, and no, he's going to get a couple of good drone kills. Oh.
That was a decent pull into the Hellions to block them out. Their base is also under attack. Very awkward pull this time.
It's actually strange to consider, but sometimes running the drones into the Hellions and select them out is the best way to shut down the Hellions. Well, Blue Flame finishes up in the nick of time to clean up another 5 kills in that last shot. 20 drones end up dying from this attack.
That's pretty nice. And I mean, as much as we've been harping on GuMiho's decision or change of decision, whatever, Solar has also had to react to something he thought was coming and then didn't come, and then thought was coming and then didn't come, and now he just took damage. So he's really not on like a 4 bases, 80 drones. GuMiho actually even has a better economy than Solar. And this push, I don't think it's large enough to work. Okay, yeah, Solar agrees.
Yeah, tank does a lot of damage. 2 tanks is even more. Well, I may have lost the Cyclones initially. That's too much for Solar to push through. Now, GuMiho is going to take advantage of this because for Solar, his assumption is, okay, he's turtling up. He's not going to be attacking me, but realistically, here we go. A lot of Blue Flame Hellions running around the north side of the map. They don't have to actually kill a lot. They just have to sneak by to have the potential to kill a lot.
They could kill this hatchery, but the roaches are already here, so not going to happen. Another thing that Solar gave up, you know, the 4 base timing, not that great. The drone count, not that great, but okay. He also gave up creep spread. I think he only had 1 extra queen, and it's spreading 1 creep tumor. So 1 single path of sight, and then everything else is because on August, which currently GuMiho has.
Oh, nice catch on some of the swarm hosts. In fact, killing one is great. Yeah. Meanwhile, Hellions managed to slip by again, and Solar's drones don't have a lot to protect them.
I'm quite worried. Solar is not in a good position spacing-wise, and losing 8 more drones. Potentially more, also not looking so hot. GuMiho takes a 4th base without any pressure, is now going into, just completely into Cyclones. You know, not what you would expect, and this can backfire, but it might work.
I do like the turrets, by the way. This time, if Burrow Roaches are going to be the problem, he'll at least see them coming. Almost sees the Crucible. Oh man, watching those like get tunneling claws as the attack's going on, man, they just like flex. They literally flexed extra stuff out of them.
Hellions in the natural base are gonna get a lot of drones, and these locusts are not gonna get quite the same damage. Good.
Okay, yeah, this roasts up 17 drones back on the other side of the code. He's not even done yet. 22, 23. Get a couple of roaches maybe on the way out. Solar has taken so much worker damage this game, up to a total of 54 drones dead. For as awkward as the opening may have been for GuMiho, his mid-game has been fantastic. And surprise!
No. So many dead swarm hosts.
The roaches can't even defend this. This is where Cyclones kind of work out a little bit. The Blue Flame Hellions don't have any bonus damage, but again, their regular damage is enough to take these units on.
Smart Servos is amazing.
+2 weapons is also chewing through a Zerg player who has no Carapace upgrades. I didn't even realize that. +1's only just finished up. Each of these Cyclones is going to shred through anything they attack, armored or otherwise.
The weakness, though, to the Cyclone style is that if Lings ever made an appearance or Claws, like, you know, the best position possible, a surround really cuts the power of Cyclones. But it doesn't look like Solar's going to be able to get one. He doesn't have that many Lings. He doesn't have any Burrow Tunneling Claw Roaches ready to pop up.
He's actually losing his supply cap here. Pushing into the army, he's going to get some Crucibles on top of the tanks, and that's nice, but the trade here is so much better for GuMiho. He slips in with Blue Flame Hellions once again, turning the Blue Flame Hell Bats, and the Queen's going to go down.
It looks like he's just really going to be able to hold the Locust coming in here. But this was a much better trade for GuMiho. GG.
Oh, we're going to another ace match. I love the action. Big thank you to Elazar for the Clan SS for that sub. He's one of our first subs on the channel. It says closing. I don't know. There's an asterisk there. Digit months. You won't get rid of me that easily. Dude, 50 months on that resub. 50 months. Dude, thank you for sticking with us for so long.
Oh, I was really wondering what that was. Triple. Gotcha.
Oh, I remember why that's censored. I'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah.
Spotted here to the bottom right, we have the Red Zerg Solar.
The top left is the Blue Terror, and he is Psy Storm Gaming's GuMiho.
Yeah, so we have some awkward censorships on the channel, and that one in particular is due to that guy who's regularly coming in to spam double chin Rifkin. Rifkin's a fat piece of shit. You guys figured it out yet? So, yeah, double, triple, we got some weird censorships to deal with that troll, but unfortunately that's going to affect some innocent comments like that as well.
It's not that close to triple digits anyway.
Well, it's halfway there.
Halfway there.
So he's just as far away from it as he is not.
Whoa, man. Whoa.
All right. Solar and GuMiho showed us quite a display of games and quite a bit of back and forth through this. My concern is I feel like the games each of them have been losing, well, definitely earned by the other. There's been a considerable amount of mistakes that kind of lead to these losses. Biggest example, of course, is Solar. You know, he's got no fungal growth, so he loses the Ghost. GuMiho in the other games, doesn't really handle the map, ends up losing out to just Hive and other things. Like, I don't feel like the losses have been so undeserved, I guess.
The losses have...
Like, the players who have been losing deserve the losses more than the players who deserve the win, if that makes sense.
Yes, in that case, I agree. I was a little confused by the way you said it, but yes. I think the losses... the losses have been, like, because it's the loss of the person that lost. Like, they've been extreme. Either you weren't paying attention to your army, or you weren't dealing with ghosts ever, or you were only on roaches, I guess, in that last game. So, I agree. And Solar, it is kind of funny how that game went about last time, game number 4. Not because roaches versus cyclones, or cyclones are overpowered or anything like that, but that I think there really was a point where GuMiho was like, oh shit, I was found out, and he had to swap styles, and you would think that puts him in the worst spot, but I think Solar having to determine what the hell he was doing was the one put into the worst spot. Zerg is by far the worst race to play if you don't know exactly what's going on.
Nope,
Terrans can kind of do... Terrans can kind of do what they like, the build, and maybe put a couple extra bunkers, maybe like a faster engineering bay, and like kind of be cautious. But a Zerg player's like, well, I guess I can drone, hits the D button, and then just like suddenly 20 Hellbats come, and they're like, shit, damn, and they just die. He felt very off.
Well, GuMiho, by the way, to note, is taking the back base. This is starting to make it smell a bit like mech to me. You want the gases, you need the gases, you can kind of survive with slightly less minerals, and they'll eventually take the safer fourths as planetaries. I like this rather than just building a fast third orbital. But even if it's not mech, I still think that this way to expand, it's kind of okay if you're playing really defensive against Solar. But oh no!
No, this is why you won! You didn't build it!
Yeah, someone in chat cracked the joke. I think it was like All Things Good or something. Said, see, that's what happens when you don't build a Raven. You win the game. There's pros and cons to this Raven. The anti-armor missile was a bit stupid, if we're going to be honest. But I still think the Raven carries a lot of cool potential with it, whether it's the repair drone or interference matrix on the Queens. Queens so often barely get the transfuses off in the first place. You put that interference matrix on them so they can't cast it, you're guaranteed to get those kills.
I really want this to work. I want to see a Raven-based push work. Not in TvT, because TvT, that's kind of been figured out, which I guess we were robbed of. Thanks, stats.
Well, maybe
not. Lose. Yeah, we could still have that one, but anyways, Ravens haven't really found a use at TvZ, so it'd be great if they could. I don't know if GuMiho's really going to show us the way, to be honest, but he's going to try.
Well, before we follow the Raven through this attack, back on the other side of the field, Solar has done the dangerous thing of just holding down the drone button, perhaps a little too much even. He's starting to get roach production now, but he's limited primarily by larva. So if GuMiho goes right now, with no hesitation, I think this third base, or even the natural base, could get picked off pretty quickly. All those drones could just disappear.
His hesitation will probably be in Hellbats, actually transforming into Hellbats, and then the Raven catching up. So that is like crucial, like 5 to 10 seconds, where Solar does pop a couple larvae and gas enough roaches.
Arios in chat wants to know why the anti-armor missile is bad. Well, it's not bad objectively. It's got potential through design, but we just learned it friendly fires your own units, not just through damage, but through armor reduction. Very stupid. Very, very stupid.
Yeah. And ergo, combining with a Hellbat push, and Hellbats are basically melee, you probably gonna splash more of your units. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the best, but he doesn't do it this time. Maybe just, remembering that game and saying like that wasn't worth it, or just realizing roaches are already out and saying it's not worth it either way. He saved the Hellbats, kept them as Hellions, and now runs into the natural. The roaches were out of position, the drones were pulled immediately and split.
Oh, good spreads. Well, the drone spreads are still pretty good. Damage is still being done, even if he doesn't kill the drones. The fact that he's pulled so many off of mining is really hurtful to Solar's economy. Quick Peek's going to prove that with this giant spike. But oh my god, Solar was winning so hard in the economy because of his drones early. It ends up not being that big of a deal.
GuMiho's going into Cyclones. I almost want GuMiho to game so I could be like, here, students, this is why Cyclones can be bad in the late game. Because last time, that was when they're actually good. When there's only roaches, not even that many roaches, actually. Of course they're going to look good. But realistically, if you're in a normal TvZ where the Zerg has got its pacing, its expansions, its tech down, the Cyclones are supposed to fall off and not be the composition anymore.
Drop Overlord, by the way. Not put on the front lines, but the Zerglings are caught pretty quick, so there's not that much to actually go inside of it. Meanwhile, here we go with the Hellion Cyclone push out of GuMiho. No weapon upgrades.
Well, +1 finishes. Solar's still waiting on that Carapace for like 10 seconds longer. It's a pretty important 10 to 15 seconds. But a single tank? Alright, and a repair drone.
I love the repair drone. I think this has a lot more potential than you guys might realize, keeping these Cyclones kind of topped off. It's not quite like a medevac, but two's keeping them alive longer than they should be, that's for sure.
Solar is certainly just waiting for a pop of Roaches. I think he will have enough army to squash this, and it looks like GuMiho agrees and pulls back beside that tank. Tank did ever die.
Repair drone hype.
I hate that thing because it just sticks around.
It doesn't move. That's what I have problems with. Because, well, I don't mind. Like, point defense drone didn't move either, and that's fine. Oh man, this liver got a lot of kills when this went on, by the way. 14 drones dead. The repair drones that Nova has, which is what this is, they do move, and that's why I get so triggered that they don't. But, oh, he just transferred those drones. He's got to run them out of there already. Blue Flame nowhere close to being done, but this is more than enough Hellions to shoot down anything they come across.
Hellion harassment really brought GuMiho up to an unbeatable place last game, and it's close to doing it here again. Solar very uncomfortable, but on 4 bases, 70 drones is better than last time. Hyde is also being produced and able to continue on his upgrades, at least +2 weapons. Is an okay position. I think Hive's done too. Yes, it is. So he can start producing Vipers.
Did the Raven live through all that? It did. Okay. We did see it do some interference matrix stuff on Vipers before, but that was also the game where GuMiho lost, so I don't have a lot of hype for this thing, but the composition's very different. +2 is going to be finishing, and Solar this time will not be caught without any armor upgrades. I mean, +1 doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is when you compare how Cyclones work.
Funny, tiny little drop here.
It's getting some damage done, but no real kills yet. He killed it 1 SCV.
Yeah. What sucks about Ling drops is that they are easily dealt with. Marines are rallied, deal with 8 Lings, no problem. Hellions rallied, deal with 8 Lings, no problem. I don't know, but anything is a cool idea if it's something other than just staying back and waiting. So more power to him. Has an army that's split up right now. Both of them do. Why is Solar's army over there? What?
He's looking to get up here and maybe shut down the base from the high ground, but if he does that, he might not have enough at home.
Yeah.
He's got more drop overlords on the way, and that's kind of a cool move. I guess that's maybe what he was going to do there in the bottom left, but the Viper gets denied. Interference Matrix stops it from casting anything. No abducts, no blinding clouds, but the army's leaving the tanks uncovered. That being said, though, the Cyclones and Hellbats still are so good. Hellions catches some of these Hydras as they try to retreat out of the neon violet squares.
That really was not a very good blinding cloud at the end there. That only hit 1 tank, so a lot of fire from a limited number of units. Solar is desperately trying to pull reinforcements back at the very least. He got ASCVs on the 4th base, going to get a lot more out this 3rd. So he has to be very careful how he deals with this, because just running tanks into it would lose on the tanks. Same here.
Both players making some weird mistakes as both players taking some bad fights with the tanks here. We're in siege, so it works out okay for Solar. He's not going to back away from the tanks. Attack on the right side, left side, bottom side. Everywhere is under fire on both sides of the map. But nobody's really killing the other one yet. The only difference is GuMiho's lost 25 workers, which he can kind of afford to lose right now. He's got the planetaries to make, or the orbitals to make up for that. Not 32, though. Oh, that number just spiked hard.
Yeah. And he's going to have tougher time rebuilding, not just in the time it takes to rebuild tanks, but also that he needs a consolidated army. That is where mech thrives. And by that counter, Solar had him all types of spread out. Barely grabs the hatchery, though. Something went right there.
This is a tough situation for both players. Their army supplies are low. They both want to counterattack, but they also know they can't leave themselves defenseless at home. So GuMiho's going to be the one to reach out for this. I gotta say, one thing I'm a bit surprised about is how much of these fights have been taking place around the middle blockers. GuMiho's been filtering through these quite a bit. It's been a problem.
Yeah. Didn't really... You can see that initially he wanted to go through the top side, and that's when the Solar's army appeared. really, I think, threw things out of whack. Instead of a consolidated direct push with a direct rally, slow build up, he had to kind of just decide right then and there to push. And it worked out okay. This is still a pretty hard game to call.
I like the unsieged tanks. They're going to help out a ton here.
Yeah.
Blinding Cloud's going to wear off in just a moment, too. So these siege tanks will start getting some shots. New Blinding Cloud comes in. Forget what I said. Oh, this is too much for GuMiho. A couple of Blue Flame Hellions would have made this so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely. He was missing that fodder. And the Blinding Clouds are always going to be amazing. He had so many of them. He was very patient with them. You know, having another one hoisted.
You know what really sucks, though? Solar, having lost that base, took the gold base as his expansion. He still hasn't opted to take what is almost a free base on the back for him. Sure, it's not going to be the best base, but it's better than no base.
Good point. It's still pretty healthy for GuMiho. Solar would be a lot healthier.
Good pull with the drones. Quick reactions. One of the things about mech players in general, not just GuMiho, not just this series, but in general, when it comes to mech, Blue Flame Hellion run-bys, Liberator shots, these are what ends up winning you the game slowly through back-end damage, not through a frontal attack.
Oh, no. Oh, pay attention, Solar. Okay, finally pulls the drones. There was a beautiful space for the Liberator siege up on. GuMiho's back to mining off of 4 bases. Could even be mining on 5 if you just looked at his main command center. 55 SCVs is a really decent amount. Solar is mining, I guess, now off of 2 bases, with this 4th finishing up, 5th, whatever it is. But oh, I don't know if that's enough economy to go for Broodlords. Ooh, that seems like a desperate trick move that I don't think GuMiho would actually fall for. GuMiho is still building some Vikings.
But here's the problem for GuMiho. His upgrades are not what they used to be, man. He's only got +2 weapons. He doesn't have the armor to soak the Broodlord hits like we've seen in previous games.
That's a good point. It is hard to say. I mean, Vipers could abduct the Vikings and make them obsolete, but then again, the Vikings kill the Vipers and then not have any anti-air. The Hydras can't get underneath them.
Parasitic Bomb forces the Vikings to land. Little unfortunate there. Blue Flame Hellions running through the top side, gonna micro these. Point of contention though being completely ignored on the bottom side, and Solar's just gonna go for his own push. And GuMiho, oh, if he gets these tank siege up, he might be able to hold.
Oh, I think that's good enough. That's 5 tanks and a couple of Hellbats. This is not going to be an efficient enough trade. Solar has to give up on that idea. But in doing so, gives up on the gold base, too. That is a good trade for GuMiho.
This is tough. He's coming back home. Tanks are set up over here as well. Without the assistance of Vipers, taking a fight against this seems very unlikely.
Oh. If he kills the Vikings, there won't be any anti-air at all.
Yeah, that's a real big problem for GuMiho. Even if he tries to crank out Thors, I just really want to revisit the point, guys. The only reason Thors can contest Broodlords in the first place is because they can take the hits from the Broodlings because of maxed out armor upgrades. Something GuMiho's not going to have. But actually, I bring this up and I realize Solar doesn't actually have any melee upgrades. So those Broodlings will be just as ineffective as they would be as if both players had maxed upgrades.
Yeah, Broodlings are entirely upgraded. Unless they get Carapace upgrades, which I don't remember. But the point is, their attacks are not upgraded at all. But the sheer fact that he has them could have been the game-winning move if GuMiho had just completely stopped building Vikings. Then the Broodlords would have killed so many tanks by the time Thors would have been produced. But GuMiho's making Vikings, and there's still a couple alive. And I don't know if Solar has anti-air to appropriately deal with that.
I guess Parasitic Bomb can do a lot of work. That might be what he's relying on here. Parasitic Bomb, while not doing the same stacking splash damage that it did before, it still is almost a Viking's entire health if the full duration goes off. It's 120 damage, unmitigated by armor.
The combination, Parasitic Bomb, maybe a couple of Abducts, the Hydras would take them on, but then there's the whole entire ground army to worry about. GuMiho is back to that maxed out mech army that is going to be protecting each other. And he's also grabbing another base, a fresh base, the planetary. There's the bomb.
Oh man, this is like a terrible spot for Broodlords to attack into, actually. But anyways, he lands the Vikings to step out of the Parasitic Bomb. This is where Smart Servos is really, really effective for the Vikings. You have to do it once again. Everybody dance.
This is going surprisingly well. GuMiho simply just microing out of whatever Solar can. You know, the Hellbat's taking care of the Broodlings fine, and then the Vikings are surviving, barely, but they are surviving.
Oh no, but they land into the Hydras. They land on the wrong side of the tanks. Tanks are trying to focus fire the Hydras too. Good control of the GuMiho to make sure this happens, but oh man, he still has to fall back. Without the blue flame, there's no way to wash off the Broodlings like before.
Yeah, but the Vikings are trying to be the heroes now that they're still alive, but they're going in range of the Hydras as the Hydras pounce on the tanks. This is exactly what GuMiho did not want to have happen. I think GuMiho might have just lost this game. He doesn't have the gas to replace all those units.
He keeps scanning to see what's going on, but Solar's just run away with this now. 113 army supply to GuMiho's 36, and he doesn't have the gas or the money. He didn't take the geysers. That's it. That's game.
Oh
no.